Make a quick video. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I am just going to simply report the facts. There was an event that took place on July 13th, 2024. And for those of you that don't know that day, that was the day that Donald Trump held a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, and there was an attempt made on his life. I'm kind of going to take a deep dive into we'll just call it a weird coincidence. For those of you that, may claim that this is a conspiracy theory, I'm simply just going to report the facts, okay? Let's take a dive into some weird coincidences as well as potential leads, for whoever may be watching this. Again, I only know what I know, but here's what I've found. So Nikki Haley has just joined the public relations firm Edelman that also just hired Senator Max Baucus, who was the chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, who Barack Obama chose to be the U.S. ambassador to China. That news was just reported 2 days ago. And let's take a deep dive on that. And why is that important, you might be asking. There was a lie that Donald Trump, quote unquote, invited Nikki Haley to the RNC to speak. And it was exposed that that was not the case. Why is that important? The news that Nikki Haley was, quote unquote, invited to speak at the RNC on July 13th at 5:42 p.m., right? What's weird about this, and I have a screenshot with this same article that has a different time. This one's showing 5:13 p.m., right? I have a screenshot. I'll figure out how to put it in the video if I can. I'm technologically illiterate for the most part, so excuse me if I don't put it up there. Somewhere or another, I'll show it. But the original timestamp showed 5:42 p.m. Either way, still before the event, but this one is posted as 5:13 p.m. That could be a whole other issue. Not sure why the timestamps are different now. But either way, the news that Nikki Haley was quote-unquote invited to speak at the RNC broke at 5:42 p.m. or on this article's case, 5:13 p.m. It was the same article, but that's when the news broke. Donald Trump was shot at his rally at approximately 6:11 p.m. on July 13th. There was less than 30 minutes that had passed between these two events, which it has now been announced that she is joining the public relations firm Edelman PR. That announcement came 2 days ago. The same day it was announced that Edelman was also hiring Senator Max Baucus. Again, Baucus was chosen by Obama in 2013 to be the U.S. ambassador to China. Oh man, let's just even see how weirder this gets. So AGR International becomes a part of Indicor Industrial Solutions. AGR International, this building right here, for those of you that don't know, if this building doesn't look familiar to you, this building, AGR International, was the building that Matthew Crooks took his shot from on July 13th, 2024. Standing right up there, that's where he was also killed, right on this rooftop. The rally was taking place right here. Matthew Crooks, shot from on July 13th, 2024, was just sold in March to Clayton, Dublier, and Rice, or CD&R. CDR is a subsidiary which is doing business as Indicor. On March 18th, 2024, the change of registered office by entity for this building the shooter shot from was changed to a quote-unquote corporation service company, and the corporation service company that it's registered as is registered as a foreign business corporation in Delaware. In December 2023, CD&R made John Celeb a partner after he joined CD&R in 2022. Celeb was the former chief of staff to Democrat Montana Senator Max Baucus, the chairman of the Senate Finance Committee. In 2013, Barack Obama chose Senator Baucus to be the U.S. ambassador to China. Celeb spent 12 years, working in the Senate and became chief of staff to Senator Baucus after Baucus, the former chief of staff to Jim Messina, left to fill the same position for Democrat Barack Obama's presidential campaign. In 2020, Ambassador Baucus went on CNN and said President Trump's rhetorical attacks on China make him, quote, a little bit like Hitler, when President Trump was blaming China for the COVID outbreak. Right here. May 27th, 2020. Max Baucus calls Trump Hitler. Right here. This guy right here. Little kind of, looks like just another Bilderberg or. Look, I won't attack him on his personal looks, but it just looks like a creep. Ambassador Baucus currently lives in Bozeman, Montana, where he and his wife, Melody Haynes, formed a consulting firm called Baucus Group LLC. Ambassador Baucus provides consulting services to American and Chinese businesses, and he serves on the board of directors of Ingram Micro and on the board of advisors to the Chinese Communist Party-owned Alibaba Group. Now, what are the odds that Baucus and Haley have now been both hired by an elite PR company less than 2 months after the attempted assassination of Donald Trump? And why is Nikki Haley going to work with a man who is on the board of advisors to the Chinese Communist Party-owned Alibaba Group? Now, what's really weird is, in January, Vivek Ramaswamy, which some of you may be familiar with, went on a podcast called Loomer Unleashed. And, here, I'm just actually going to pull this up real quick just so you guys can read this. He went on this podcast and he stated, quote, "I think the near-term game is they're going to take a shot at trying to make this a two-horse race between Donald Trump and Nikki Haley," which is very interesting to say the least, because if you rewind back to that time, Nikki Haley dropped out, but, all these elitist Republicans were coming out saying, oh, Nikki Haley is the future of the Republican Party, even though I don't know one person who was like, oh, yeah, I love Nikki Haley. Like, this girl literally kicked people out of their homes from her home state when she was governor to build Boeing facilities across her entire state, which she was getting kickbacks from Boeing when she was doing this, kicking just hardworking families. She even destroyed, I think it was over 100 trailer parks just so she could build these Boeing facilities, right? Which is crazy. And Vivek goes on to say the fact that, Nikki is pressing ahead, exposes the ugly underbelly of this race. There's no way she can, quote unquote, defeat Trump through the front door. So her donor puppet masters are propping her up long enough while plotting to eliminate Trump from the ballot. Look, the point is this, for those of you that may not be following this, it's a little weird how the elitist Republicans positioned Nikki Haley to be at the RNC, and the news broke within 30 minutes of the assassination attempt. The building that the shooter shot from is owned by a company that Nikki Haley now works for, which is also registered as a foreign business in the state of Delaware. Little weird. Really, a little weird. This speech right here could have been a speech that, Nikki Haley could have came out and said, oh, it's so sad that, President Trump was just assassinated. Let's unite. And then the RNC, which for those of you that don't know, the Republican National Convention is where delegates go to vote on who the Republican nominee will be. Same for the Democrat Party in their own ways. Such a coincidence. Super weird. Just wanted to outline that for those of you, that may take interest in this kind of thing. Just very weird coincidences. And that's all I got. Just wanted to throw this out there. Again, it's really a dark time we're living in. We saw what they did to Kennedy. I'm not saying that, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this isn't, a weird coincidence. Maybe it's just, what it is. But they're real. The deep state lies deep. And so I'll leave it with that. So y'all have a blessed one. Take care.